of the action.
We will not waste a single moment in delivering on our promises to the people.
President-elect Donald Trump is eager for his second term to start. Once he takes the oath of office, he will officially become the 47th president of the United States.
Within hours of taking office, I will sign dozens of executive orders.
While frigid temperatures forced the ceremony from the iconic West Front City. On Sunday, thousands of officers from across the country were given police powers in D.C. through Monday.
Our officers are on the ground, supporting road closures, managing crowd safety.
Before Donald Trump swears in, Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh will give the vice presidential oath of office to J.D. Vance, the first millennial to serve in that role. Outgoing President Joe Biden will attend. Hundreds of thousands of supporters in town, now with nowhere to go. The Trump team is having a live viewing party at D.C.'s Capital One Arena.
And now it's Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castor joining us on this Monday morning. The time now officially 6 o'clock here on the East Coast. Good morning to you if you're just now tuning in. I'm Jeanne Francine. We're going to go ahead and check in with our content partners, Fox 5 DC. We see they are back from a quick commercial break. They are sharing the very latest and everything you need to know about Inauguration Day 2025.
Keeping an eye on crowds already gathering at Metro.
Well, we begin this morning with Tucker and Annie Mae tracking your Inauguration Day commute and weather. Tucker, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Cold temperatures, as advertised, have arrived overnight here on the back end of our snow that we had yesterday afternoon. And you're pretty much looking at high temperatures right now, which are in the 20s. We're 26 degrees in Washington. And you can see that surrounding counties here, Germantown down to 17 degrees, 24 in Waldorf, La Plata. Not showing you wind chills, which are in the single digits and teens. And guess what? From here, temperatures won't budge. It will be a good-looking day, lots of sunshine, but windy and very cold with wind chills in the teens most of the day. More coming up. Annie Mae.
All right. Thank you. 6 o'clock, we'll take a look at your Monday morning commute in terms of the belt, the D.C. area today for everything that's going on regarding inauguration. Red line trains run every 5 to 6 minutes. Green and yellow lines run every 6 minutes. Blue, orange, and silver run every 10 to 12. So keep all those in mind. Metro really ones that are closed this morning.
We will not waste a single moment in delivering on our promises to the people.
Despite the cold, thousands of people waited in very long lines to get into Capital One Arena last night. Same thing expected this morning.
Let's get out to Fox 5's Stephanie Ramirez with a look on the ground from the arena. And Stephanie, people already lined up and ready to go.
Lined up some since 7:30 last night. Now, this is the area to go through security to get to Capital One Arena. And, guys, you can see it's a huge crowd here. And like I told you, some people sleeping over. There's still ice and snow on the ground. So it's brutal cold out here, but you see the dedication of a lot of folks. Now, we have some fine people here willing to talk with us live this morning. Tell everybody here where you're from, because we had a little conversation before.
I'm from Rhode Island.
Rhode Island?
Alabama.
Alabama.
Louisiana.
Welcome to D.C. Is this the first time to D.C.?
Yes.
This is. What do you make of how things have been going so far?
Oh, it's been great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You told me, though, you weren't able to get in last night.
Yeah, no, the line was just too long. But
did you have tickets to come down originally?
Yeah.
To see the inauguration?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Is there any today?
No, there's no idea.
So what time did you hear that?
I got here at 3.
3 in the morning.
Yeah.
That's pretty early.
Yeah.
And obviously you're hoping to get in. What do you hope to experience today?
Well, just even being here in the line, just the camaraderie of the people, I think, looking forward to seeing Trump.
How about you folks? Did you have tickets going in?
We do. Well, we had tickets to stand in a good place by the Capitol, had it indeed taking place outside. But no, this was just register. We got confirmed after giving names, address, phone numbers, and then they gave us instructions to start standing in line early, dress warm. But we know they're only going to allow 20,000 folks in. We hope to be in that number.
All right, well, thank you folks for talking with us.
Because
Oh.
All right, Stephanie, thanks very much. We're going to go inside the arena right now, and we'll check in with Jacqueline Matter, who is there. You got the coveted spot. All those folks outside are waiting to get, Jacqueline.
Yeah, good morning, Steve and Marissa. That's right. We passed by Stephanie and all of those thousands of people that are standing outside of Capital One Arena as they wait to make their way inside the building here because of those frigid temperatures that have now moved all of the festivities for Inauguration Day here inside. Now, let's take a look at what many of those supporters were expecting. They were expecting to see the president sworn in on the National Mall, but instead they will file into Capital One Arena today to watch the ceremony in the inaugural address live here on the Jumbotrons. Then the pomp and circumstance will then make its way to Capital One Arena from the Capitol Rotunda. Now, instead of the traditional parade down Pennsylvania Avenue, the president will also join supporters here after his swearing in, where he will make some of his first remarks as the 47th president of the United States. Now, last night, President-elect Trump also held his last victory rally here at Capital One Arena before taking office, greeted by a thunderous applause of thousands of supporters. He touched on a number of campaign promises while he was speaking, hoping to put into action in his first few days in office. Those included things like stronger border policies, remaking the federal government, also taking credit for ceasefire in the Middle East, and the return of the coveted TikTok.
I will act with historic speed and strength and fix every single crisis facing our country. We have to do it. At noon, the curtain closes on 4 long years of American decline, and we begin a brand new day of American strength and prosperity, dignity and pride.
Now, the security doors here at Capital One will open in a little less than an hour at 7 a.m. All those people Stephanie's been talking to outside, they'll start making their way in here. Guys,
Jacqueline, thanks very much. And keep it right here to Fox 5 all day long as our presidential inauguration coverage continues. You could tune in right here on Fox 5 on our website, fox5dc.com. You could stream it all live on our Fox Local app, which if you haven't downloaded it yet, you can scan that QR code on the screen and do so now.
6:06 now. It's time to do weather as we take a live view out in Frederick this morning. And Tucker, we all know weather played a role in the inauguration as well, moving it indoors.
Yeah, fear was cold weather, or the forecast, and it's been realized early this in Baltimore. PWI Marshall. Winds are back out of the north and west at 10, and they'll get blustery at times, probably to 20 to 30. So wind chills again going to be the big story today. Just make sure you don't have exposed skin for long periods of time. As the daytime highs, as I mentioned, we're pretty much looking at them in the mid-20s. We won't warm up from here as we got very, very cold. Really our coldest Arctic blast here we've seen so far this winter season in the Washington area, expected later this afternoon. Good news is we're back to sunshine. The light rain and then sleet and then snow we had yesterday is all gone, and it should be a brighter day. We'll see a little bit of cloudiness this afternoon, but otherwise quiet looking day for you and a quiet couple days. Just very, very cold around here the next couple afternoons and overnights. 27 will do it for a daytime high. Very blustery out there. Annie Mae, good morning.
Good morning. Right now, 6:07. We'll take a look at GW Parkway north and southbound. This is having to do with what Tucker said due to some of that winter weather we were looking at yesterday. Those icy conditions, definitely a potential there on GW Parkway. That is closed between the Beltway and Spout Run Parkway. If you do have to head that direction, you can use Clara Barton Parkway as the alternate. That's the McLean kind of through Arlington area. Otherwise, throughout the DMV right now, as of 6:08, you are looking great in terms of your area main roads. It's about 5 minutes if you're headed DC 295 southbound between Kenilworth and the 11th Street Bridge. Inbound New York Avenue, 8 between Kenilworth and the 3rd Street Tunnel. 395 northbound, 10 from the Beltway towards the 14th Street Bridge. Marissa?
Annie Mae, thank you so much. Today's inauguration ceremony begins with a traditional prayer service at St. John's Episcopal Church.
All right, Marina May is as close as she can get to the church this morning with a preview of one of the, it's what we get every inauguration, Mo.
Yeah, you know, so President-elect Trump making his way to St. John's Episcopal Church later this morning for that traditional reflective to think about the next 4 years, what they want to accomplish. This is an apolitical service. This is something that they do every 4 years, every president does. For 92 years they've been doing this. So again, this is designed to just give him the space to be a little contemplative about what lies in Joe Biden before then going, braving the security, braving the weather, to just have a chance to be at this historic event. These two gentlemen, we stopped them. You can see they're dressed for the occasion. Cold out here. Where are you guys from, and what's your name?
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Oh, so you're cold. You are used to the cold.
Yeah, Corey Francis.
Why is it important for you to be here today?
Because I painted them back in 2015, and it came out amazing, and I made a lot of money during the 16th inauguration. But He's going to make everything right. He's going to fix it.
All right. Well, wait a minute. So sorry. Okay, please don't get us in trouble. All right. And what about you, sir?
I'm here just to support Trump and make America great again, the way it was, the way it should be.
Are you hopeful that there will be at least a coming of minds? The folks who didn't support him maybe will come under his umbrella this time?
Yeah,
yes.
he was voted out. Now he's voted back in by America. So America's had enough.
100%.
All right, gentlemen, I know you have more to say, but I've got to wrap up here. But thank you so much for being here.
I was here in 3 different other inaugurations, and it's never been like this.
Security very tight. We've been talking about it. Thank you, guys. Have a great day. This is Channel 5, Fox 5. As you can see, a lot of people here excited to be here at the nation's capital for this inauguration. Any way you voted, you can't deny that this is history in the making. And so we are here covering all bases for you this morning, from the security to the crowds to the pageantry and ceremony. We've got you covered here at Fox 5. In the meantime, I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
We'll be hearing from voters all day, all morning long. Thanks so much, Maureen, for getting us started early. It's 6:11, still to come. Much more on today's inauguration, including how Metro is faring so far with all of the huge crowd.
Tickets are going for up in Philly.
All right, and we appreciate our content partners there at Fox 5 DC. As they get to a quick 2-minute commercial break, we're going to stay on the air because we have a lot to show you as it relates to Inauguration Day 2025. Take a good look at your screen. This just coming in from the United States Secret Service. They are providing an update on this Monday, January 20th. They say, quote, for those attending the presidential parade at the Capital One Arena Monday, January 20th, the U.S. Secret Service is directing everyone to an entry point located at 4th and H Street Northwest. All attendees will be directed from there to the main security checkpoint at 9th and G Street Northwest. Security screening will begin at 7 a.m. Now, for D.C. residents who live within the Chinatown and Judiciary Square neighborhoods, there will be a community access point located at 9th and H Street Northwest and 3rd and G Street Northwest. They go on to say you must have a valid D.C. license listing your local address. And I will tell you all, on this Monday, they are not playing. We have seen Fox 5's Melanie Onwick out there, and there's a certain card you have to take the Metro that you will be given. And also, again, as it says there, they are checking your ID to make sure you are where you need to be when you say you need to be there. But of course, you can imagine this is what happens when we have an inauguration. Safety and security, a top priority for the Secret Service. If we look back to last year, what happened at those campaign rallies for President-elect Donald Trump, we saw attempted assassinations. So the Secret Service keeping this in mind on this inauguration day, as they don't want anything to go haywire on today. They want to keep the current president, Joe Biden, and then VP Harris, and then the incoming administration, the Trump and Vance administration, safe at all times. And of course, the people who are there, they want to keep them safe as well. We do have a look at some of the safety and security clearances. This takes us out to DC, and you can see Melanie Onwick there in the distance. I just wanted to show this to you in real time so you can see what I was referring to about how transit is being affected. 6:14 here on the East Coast. I also want to show you a live look at the White House. If you're just now tuning in, you can see the flags there and half staff on this inauguration day. So wanting to provide that perspective for you as we continue to share the very latest. Quick content reminder for you right here on Live Now from Fox. We will have coverage throughout the morning. I want to share this graphic with you in real time. Inauguration Day 2025 live coverage starting at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. But of course, I'm in the host chair right now, Jeanne Francine, and we're providing all of that free coverage for you. Safety and security measures, what you need to know. Maybe you're wanting to know what are you allowed to bring in and around the perimeter. Of course, traffic congestion, winter weather alerts. As we know, snow and ice are in the area as well. And then, of course, there will be streets that are blocked off because obviously with the parade route and everything, they want to keep everything at a safe distance. So wanting to share that with you. 2-minute commercial break. We'll be right back.
UGSOUND online radio is regulated by Uganda Communications Commission.
Live from Natete Wakaliga Road, UGSOUND. Owuliriza UGSOUND Radio, the #1 internet radio mu Uganda.
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm Gina Francine. Want to give you a live look, a different shot that's into our Live Now from Fox Studios there. The U.S. Capitol there in the distance, a wide-scale view on this Inauguration Day. And as we continue to propel the coverage and get you excited about this momentous occasion, this coming in from the D.C. Police Department, they say months
Group of people yesterday were very excited about the Commanders. None of them were alive last time they went to the championship game. Something made me feel very old.
33 years.
I know.
34 years.
It's a whole lifetime.
Can't wait for next weekend, though. Really exciting. That was just an amazing win. All right, you probably can wait to go outside and experience what Mother Nature has to offer you. Let's revisit yesterday quickly. Wow, our snow took its time getting here, but when it did, it really came down. It was beautiful there for a couple hours. And that sleet, I've never seen it sleet as hard as it did yesterday afternoon for about an hour. Officially 3/10 of an inch at Reagan National there, but more as you got up north and west at 95. Dallas 1.4 inches, Baltimore 1 inch. And again, as you got where the area was under a winter storm warning, we have lots of 4- and 5-inch snow totals from yesterday. All right, fresh snow covering for many of us. And here comes the cold. And going forward for your day-to-day, it's all about the cold weather. 26 in Washington, Leonardtown 24 degrees, 18 in Gaithersburg. These are air temperatures. There's current wind chills, 16 in Washington, 9 in Gaithersburg. Winds are going to be persistent and very blustery at times today, out of north and west to about 25. So unfortunately, these numbers aren't going to budge at all today. Highs only expected to be in the mid-20s. We're going to kind of reset and do this pattern for the next couple of days. It really won't warm up until the end of the week. And I do want to mention very quickly, even though we had light snow amounts, it has really locked up, very icy across the area early this morning. So be extra cautious on those roads. 27 today, 25 tomorrow, 23 on Wednesday, then a little better. Anime?
Burr. Cold. Right now, 617, we'll take a look there. 95 northbound, about 15 minutes if you're headed from Quantico to the Beltway. Your area, but earlier, it was literally an ice rink on some of your secondaries as well as your neighborhoods. So just keep that in mind as you are headed out the door. Inner loop is about 12 between 95 and the Dulles Toll Road. 66 looking good as well from Manassas towards the Beltway. About 17 for that 19-mile stretch. Dulles Toll Road, 12, your westbound side of things, 13, your eastbound side of things from the airport towards the Beltway. Just so GW is going to be closed there. That's between kind of McLean, Arlington, between the Beltway and Spout Round Parkway due to those icy conditions. Use Clara Barton if you want to as an alternate. Marissa?
I took an Uber, Annie Mae, because of the icy conditions, so you're right. Continuing our Inauguration Day coverage, we have some key times you need to know about the historic event.
All right, Stephen joins us with what we should all expect today.
All right, guys, it's a busy day, and good morning to you guys. And if you're planning on celebrating the 60th presidential inauguration, we have some key times for you to pay attention to. So less than an hour away, some security screening will begin at 7. Now, those musical performances that everybody looks forward to seeing, those will start around 9:30 a.m. And then opening remarks will be at 11:30 a.m. The swearing-in ceremony, however, from President-elect Donald Trump and Vice President-elect J.D. Vance is slated to begin at noon. That'll happen in the Capitol Rotunda. That was moved from outdoors to indoors. the traditional inaugural lunch, that'll be followed by the ceremony. So we'll get those things for you. And of course, we got a lot to follow today. Stay with Fox 5, stay with Fox Local as we continue our coverage all day long, guys.
The ceremonial units of the U.S. military, everything runs smoothly. Retired U.S. Army Colonel Richard Breen, who no stranger to inauguration, says it's all about the precision and the timing. Speaking from his years of military experience in D.C., telling Fox 5's On the Hill this weekend that now it's time to put the planning into action and execute that mission flawlessly.
You practice, you rehearse, and train, and with the military, you always have contingency operations. So you've prepared for an inclement weather plan that you normally do. But that does change the whole logistics and the dynamics of the event.
Military District of Washington includes the Old Guard, the Caisson, Chorus, and Army bands, also in aviation and combat in the defense of the National Capital Region.
Checking our other top stories this morning, a man faces murder charges for shooting and killing 2 people in Rockville. 25-year-old Kaloyan Demov-Stoev is a suspect being held without bond. They say he killed a man in a car last Friday morning on Shady Grove Road. Less than a mile away, they say he killed a woman in a parking lot.
All right, as they switch to a more live look, noticing that Fox 5 DC, they are back from a quick break with a breaking news alert. Let's check in with them now.
Visit AutoNation Toyota today.
Back with the Fox 5 News Alert now. Released Palestinians recounting prison conditions in Israel as they return home. Some of the women who were released by Israel as part of the ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas say the conditions in the prison were, quote, very difficult and chaotic. The former hostages say almost no basic necessities were available. Hamas now expected to release several more prisoners.
2 active wildfires. The Palisades fire, which started about 2 weeks ago, is now at 52% containment. Meantime, the Eaton fire is at 81%. The fires have scorched thousands of acres and killed at least 27 people. This morning, authorities are monitoring for the potential for high winds, which could worsen the remaining wildfires. Meantime, 2 people accused of impersonating firefighters have been arrested.
All right, coming up on 625. Weather obviously a big deal today with cold conditions out there, Tuck.
Yeah, fresh covered of snow for many of us. And in its wake here, we are looking at some bitter cold air. This will be the coldest air mass we've seen yet this month of January. 20s some sunshine, but we will not get warm temperatures as we'll be in the mid-20s this afternoon and plenty windy out there. Good looking morning ahead as far as sunshine. We're done with the snow and the sleet that we had yesterday. And we're looking at a quiet pattern here for the next couple of days, but a very, very cold pattern continues. You can see the daytime highs well below normal. We should be in the mid-40s, 20 degrees plus below normal next couple of days. Annie Mae?
I have a snow pic that I took.
Little snowman?
Yesterday.
Little
no,
guy?
it's just like a nice, like...
Oh, snow globe.
Yeah. No, not a snow pic.
Oh.
No, it's not a selfie. It's a picture of the snow.
Oh, yeah. You know what I think is
you.
hot is a good picture of just the snow. Not you don't have to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The things that
Okay.
Tucker thinks is hot. Right now, 625. Well, look, GW Parkway north and southbound. Due to those icy conditions we're looking at, that is going to be closed between the Beltway and Spout Run Parkway. You can use Clara Barton as an alternate, but of course, with all the construction in the area, GW is just better off that is closed. BW Parkway north and southbound looking good in both directions. Back to you guys.
Keep it right here to Fox 5. Our inauguration coverage continues at 6:30. President-elect Trump will be sworn in later today. We'll go back to the White House. We're taking a live look there now. We have live team coverage for you all day long. After the break, a look at how Metro is doing to keep up with all of the crowds. We'll be right back.
All right, and as they go to a quick 2-minute commercial break, I want to share this content reminder with you here on Live Now from Fox, giving you another live look at the White House here at 627 on the East Coast. As we know, we are hours away from President-elect Donald Trump to be sworn in as the 47th president. We do have some quick content reminders. The Fox Forecast Center predicting that
UGSOUND online radio is regulated by Uganda Communications Commission.
That's why we have medical professionals that are stationed around the site to make sure people don't get hypothermia. Make sure you are bundled up to stay warm. We even saw someone out in that area selling hand warmers as well. We know Inauguration Day in 1994, coldest temperatures in history, reaching only 18 degrees. I'm getting cold just saying that. And then Inauguration Day back in 1951, the warmest temperatures in history reaching 70 degrees. So you can see how things differ with those times. 6:28 here on the East Coast. Let's take our second 2-minute commercial break of the hour. We'll be right back.
Owuliriza UGSOUND Radio, the #1 internet radio mu Uganda. Log on to Uganda's biggest online radio, UGSOUND Radio. Streaming live from Natete Wakaliga Road, UGSOUND.
6:30 here on the East Coast. Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm Jeanne Francine. Before the break, we were showing you all those facts as it relates to Inauguration Day and how cold it will be today. I told you all that there will be medical personnel stationed around the perimeter to make sure you are safe, making sure you don't get hypothermia. And we have this tweet to share with you to further confirm that. This coming in from the District of Columbia National Guard. They say it's more than public safety. The National Guard's medical teams are keeping service members healthy and mission ready for the 60th presidential inauguration, preventing illness and treating injuries. So sharing that with you. And
imagine all of the good things that we will accomplish together with 4 more years in the White House.
Amazing, more than worth the wait.
Go Trump, man. From Georgia to support President Trump.
I will act.
Today, President-elect Donald Trump won, which included a victory rally inside of Capital One Arena.
And those events continue today as well as at the U.S. Capitol. The inauguration, of course, moved indoors due to the bitter cold temperatures.
And we have live team coverage for you all morning long. But first, we want to kick things off with Tucker for your Inauguration Day forecast. Tucker.
Yeah, it's all about the cold here going forward. We got the snow out of here. And they're not going to budge at all today. So you're pretty much looking at your daytime highs. In fact, they'll probably be a few degrees lower later this afternoon as that cold air continues to move on in. 26 in Washington this morning, 18 in Gaithersburg. Our wind chills are mostly in the teens. At times, the wind chills will be in the single digits today. Really, make sure you protect your skin if you're outside later this afternoon. Annie Mae, I'll have more coming up.
All right, thanks. 6:30, we'll take a look at your Monday morning commute. Of course, that does involve inauguration closures in and around the day. McLean through Arlington, that's around the area of GW. If you normally take GW, you know about that. So it's better off that it is closed this morning. Otherwise, throughout the DMV, in terms of your area main roads, you've got clear, but DC is where it gets a little dicey with all the road closures. Steve?
All right, let's talk around the city, from adjusted stations to extended closures through tomorrow. A lot to keep in mind. So Mel's got that covered for us. She's down at Metro Center with more of the details. Metro opened early this morning, and folks were lined up early, Mel.
Is to get this commemorative card. Metro Center is the only place where you can get one of these. And so we even talked to people who made their way all the way from other parts of the system to come here to try to do that. And you can see folks are standing in line here trying to get that commemorative card. They've got a lot of people. It is basically all hands on deck here at Metro Center and at all the Metro stations around the city. We know the Emergency Operations Center opened up yesterday to be prepared for everything that might be happening. And we also know that you're going to see a lot of security as well. You're going to see perhaps some National Guardsmen here. We know that there are transit police officers from around the country that are also coming to join Metro Transit Police to keep things safe for everyone. I want to bring in Monica. Monica, how are you doing?
Hi, fine, thank you.
So tell me how your ride on Metro was this morning.
It was good. There's nobody, although when I went outside, it's full of people. And I wanted to say I really went outside and I heard about the commemoration smart trip cards and I came here to get it. And I already been interviewed by a Dutch TV station. So it was like a lot international. Yesterday we were
that you're an independent, but you still wanted to come to see the inauguration.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I have the red hat, but it doesn't mean anything rather than it was had an H&M. But it's fantastic to be here. They said there are 20,000 people, but right outside there are probably 50 or 60,000 already, or getting close to it. So I'm not sure we're going to be able to get in. People were staying from last night outside. So
it's still going to be a good day.
It's fantastic, and thank you for your service.
All right, thank you, Monica. Thank you so much, guys. So again, everyone in really good spirits here so far today. And if you need to know about Metro changes, I can tell you, Annie Mae is all over that, guys. But Metro Center really going to be the one place that'll get you where you need to go downtown today.
All right, everybody's bundled up for sure in this weather. You got to be. These frigid temps force the traditionally outdoor swearing-in ceremony to be held inside.
All right, so let's go inside and see what's going on. Jacqueline Matter is there inside the arena this morning where a lot of folks will be watching. Good morning, Jacqueline.
Yeah, guys, good morning. And we are just hours now away from welcoming in a new commander-in-chief. And as you mentioned, those frigid temperatures that Tucker's been talking about all morning long, that is what is forcing all of these celebrations to come indoors, including here to Capital One Arena. You can see behind me here the crew setting up the stage for the presidential parade and for President-elect Trump to come on stage here. But in about 30 minutes, all those people that are standing outside when we check in with Stephanie Ramirez, they're going to be making their way in here because the security doors open in less than half an hour, and that's when people will start packing into Capital One Arena. In the meantime, though, of course, like you mentioned, Marissa, many of these people were expecting to be out on the National Mall today. Of course, because of those frigid temperatures, they will now be filing into Capital One Arena to watch the ceremony. That'll be live streamed for the inaugural address on the Jumbotrons here, and then all of that pomp and circumstance is going to make its way here to the Capital One Arena. Last night, President-elect Trump, was also here having his last victory rally ahead of today's inauguration. He spoke about stronger border policies, remaking federal government, and taking credit for the ceasefire in Now, as I mentioned, the security doors will open here at Capital One Arena at 7 a.m. Then the ceremony will start streaming at 10:30 a.m. ahead of the swearing in at noon. And then at 3:30 p.m. is when the presidential parade will take place here in Capital Arena. Now, what is the big question today is there was upwards of 200,000 people that were expected to be out on the National Mall for Inauguration Day today. Many of those ticketed people were planning to be out there, but Capital One Arena only holds 20,000. So it remains to be seen exactly how many, what the protocol is when it comes to having people in. Is it first come, first serve? Is it a ticketed event? We did reach out to the Presidential Inauguration Committee, but have not heard back from them on that. So we will see in the next 30 minutes, roughly, guys. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Jacqueline, thanks very much. Jacqueline, nice and warm inside. As she mentioned, doors will open in less than 30 minutes, and then all the folks outside hopefully can warm up as well, because you need it today.
She's got the coveted spot. She does. Yes.
Yeah, she hit the coverage lottery.
She got right the reporter assignments. She won the lottery, didn't
Nice
she?
and warm.
Yes, cold is here. It is here to stay today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. But we're talking about dangerous cold at times, especially when you mix in winds and wind chills. It'll be down near zero. Later tonight, we're going to have wind chills below zero, so we've got some extra advisories here. And just coldest day we've seen so far in the month of January, behind the snow and sleet we had yesterday. 26 this morning in Washington, 24 Upper Marlboro. Good morning, Bowie, 23 degrees. Look at 18 sticks out there. These are actual air temperatures up in Germantown in Montgomery County. 20 in Haymarket, 24 in Dale City. Numbers just aren't going to budge a lot today. These are pretty much your daytime highs. We will get some sunshine. We'll also get a lot of wind at times, currently out of the north and west at about 10. But we'll see gusts occasionally 20 to 25, and that'll give us wind chills very much on the cold side this afternoon, mostly in the teens. So plan accordingly here. Plenty of sunshine. That's a good news. And, at least we don't have to worry about any storminess today. But 27 is going to do it for your daytime highs. Very cold tonight. Anyway.
Thank you. Right now, we'll move on to your roads real quick. We'll look there, 270 southbound direction. 31 minutes there between 70 and the Beltway. A lot of your area main roads looking green. 9 between 95 and 270 for the top side of the outer loop Beltway. BW Parkway, both directions looking good as well. Steven?
Thank you very much. Well, here's what's ahead in the next 45 minutes. At 6:40, changes a local high school following a string of recent fights involving students. And then at 6:43, a look at how much tickets are going for this weekend's Commanders-Eagles game. And then at 6:54, the Pandas making their public debut this Friday. We're going to have some tips on how you can tell them apart. And then at 6:57, the new feature that Instagram just rolled out. Stay with us.
It really ruined everything.
And as they go to a quick break, we want to share this with you in real time as we are keeping a close eye on Inauguration Day 2025 festivities. You can see there on the left-hand side of your screen, we kind of have a timeline for you. 8:30 this morning Eastern Time, President-elect Trump will attend St. John Church's service. 10:30, Trump and Biden will arrive at the U.S. Capitol. 11:18 this morning Eastern Time, swearing-in ceremony takes place. Then at around noon, 12:40 p.m. Eastern Time, President and VP participate in farewell departure ceremony. And then at 1 o'clock this afternoon Eastern Time, we are seeing the President's signing room ceremony will begin. So wanting to share that with you as we continue to follow the very latest. 6:41 here on the East Coast. We do have some more tweets coming into our live now from Fox Studios. This one showing us, it's coming from the District of Columbia National Guard. It says National Guard leaders have authorized the use of a special shoulder patch with the Guard motto, always ready, always there, to ensure that people coming to the inauguration of President-elect Donald Trump on Monday will know who is who. And this is why I want to show you in real time a live look out in Washington, D.C. You can see droves of people, and some of them even camped out overnight just to try to get one of those few select spots to see this historic day in action. We see that Fox 5 DC, they have gone to a quick break, so we will do the same here at 6:41 on the East Coast. We'll be right back.
UGSOUND online radio is regulated by Uganda Communications Commission.
Owuliriza UGSOUND Radio, the #1 internet radio mu Uganda. Log on to Uganda's biggest online radio, UGSOUND Radio. Streaming live from Natete Wakaliga Road, UGSOUND.
.44 here on the East Coast. Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm Gina Francine. As we further discuss the safety and security aspect of Inauguration Day 2025, giving you this tweet coming in from the D.C. Police Department. They say happening now. Law enforcement from across the country is about to be sworn in to assist the Metropolitan Police Department with the 60th presidential inauguration. And I can tell you all, as far as South Florida, we even saw a picture early this morning with the Miami Police Department. They are driving out there to help assist their men and women, brothers and sisters in blue, to make sure that it's a successful one. Thank you, Tania. There's that picture. You can see some smiles on some of the faces, and then you see some others who are like, you know what? It's pretty early. We are on this bus to do our duty, but maybe we should have got some coffee first. But the City of Miami Police Department, they say there on X, they are fully prepared to contribute to the safety and security efforts alongside numerous other law enforcement agencies from across the nation in anticipation of President Donald Trump's inauguration. They go on to say, God bless America. And I can definitely tell you all the men and women in blue who are traveling from Miami to the nation's capital, this will be a day that they don't forget as they are protecting the country and also seeing history happen in real time. So wanting to share that with you in real time. I want to show you what the nation's capital looks like at this hour. 6:45 here on the East Coast. Now you're getting a live look there. The U.S. Capitol there in the distance, a beautiful shot. The sun not up just yet, but still nicely illuminated here. And we are seeing that in real time, and then giving you a live look at the White House as well. And you can see that there's a little blanket of snow there in the distance, and winter weather definitely going to impact the inauguration today. Let's check in with Fox 5 DC as we now see they are about to check in with their meteorologist.
Including a 4-1 victory against the rival Pittsburgh Penguins Saturday. So way to go, Caps, too.
Love to see Ovi in the Jaden Daniels jersey. So great weekend of sports all around. 6:45 now.
Winners all around.
Yes, we'd love to see it, Tuck.
Steve, you know what?
What's that, my friend?
Annie Mae has declared herself a winner because she's associated with all of this. Yeah.
She's the lucky charm.
The Caps win, and that's great, but I was already a winner. It hurts to be top of the league, baby. What can I say?
More on that coming up in just a minute. Hey, cold and blustery Monday for you, but please, please, please take this cold seriously, as our daytime highs are only going to be exactly where the air temperatures I'm about to show you, with single-digit wind chills much of the afternoon. The winds are out of the north and west here. They'll be gusting times up to about 30. Looking down the road, this is several days away, but we do have a warm-up to look forward to by the end of the week. By Friday and Saturday and Sunday, 40s will be back. Okay, numbers, let's do it. These are actual air temperatures. 26 in Washington this morning, 18 in Gaithersburg, 24 in Leonardtown, 20 Dulles, anywhere from trace of snow to 5 or 6 inches off to the north and west yesterday. And all of that fresh snowpack making for very, very icy conditions. We've really locked up the secondary roads. Annie Mae will comment on that, but it is a dangerous cold out there this morning, and it just won't warm up a lot. There's your satellite and your radar. It will feature plenty of sunshine. Do not be fooled. It will not be a warm day. Again, our daytime highs are pretty much where we're at right now, in the mid-20s, and wind chills most of the day, single digits and low teens out there. So very, very blustery. Tonight and tomorrow, some of the coldest air yet. And the Weather Service just went ahead and issued a advisory here. And again, this is what we call cold weather advisory for our region, as wind chills later tonight will likely be for a time below 0. So it just, again, really want to emphasize you're outside today, protect your skin, as it will be a very cold afternoon. I know we've got a lot going on across the D.C. area later this afternoon. Tuesday and Wednesday, very cold as well. All right, here's our winner.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. It's just fun when everybody in D.C. plays well. The Commanders, the Cavs, it's just fun for all. We'll go ahead and get a look at your roads right now. Maryland 5 Branch Avenue northbound. If you're headed out the door right now, approaching the 7 o'clock hour, you're looking great. A lot of people do have work off today, so that could potentially be the reason you're seeing such great numbers. Maryland 210 northbound, pretty normal for this area between Berry Road and the Beltway. I-295 northbound, only 7 minutes between the Beltway and the 11th Street Bridge, approaching 7. DC 295 southbound, same story, 6 between Kenilworth and the 11th Street Bridge. I mean, we'll be saying this over and over again. If you can avoid the DC area in terms of driving this morning, that might be your best bet. Metro is definitely a good option for a lot of you this morning. We'll, of course, get to those Metro closures in just a bit, but this is another drive time there inbound New York Avenue between Kenilworth and the 3rd Street Tunnel. 8 minutes for that 4-mile stretch. Be aware of potential for icy patches, not really on your main roads, but definitely those secondaries as well as your neighborhoods. Back to you.
On this final full day in office, President Joe Biden issued 5 more pardons. That includes Virginia House Speaker Don Scott. Scott was convicted of a nonviolent drug offense back in 1994 and served 7 years in prison. Since his release, Scott became an attorney, got elected to the Virginia House of Delegates, and became the first black speaker of the Virginia House of Delegates back in 2024, so just last year. And the president also pardoned Marcus Garvey posthumously. He was an activist who influenced Malcolm X and several other civil rights leaders. Garvey was convicted of mail fraud back in the 20s. Congressional leaders pushed for his pardon after believing Garvey's sentencing was politically motivated.
Incoming President Donald Trump making some big promises as he outlines plans for his return to the White House. On day 1, he plans to take on more than 200 executive orders. The agenda focusing on immigration, the border crisis, trade tariffs, and pardons related to January 6th. The president-elect says he plans to reinstate controversial policies, including mass deportations, and build a stronger border wall. He also promised to roll back many of President Biden's executive orders and implement higher tariffs on foreign goods to boost domestic manufacturing. Now, when it comes to January 6th, he vowed to pardon many of those involved, calling them patriots.
I will act with historic speed and strength and fix every single crisis facing our country. We have to do it. Think of it, open borders, prisons, and mental institutions, men playing in women's sports, transgender for everyone, transgender. And very soon we'll begin the largest deportation operation in American history.
Hold the current administration accountable for what he calls a failure to protect America.
New data from the Milken Institute reveals its 2025 best-performing cities and some local places made the cut. The report is based on economic vitality and quality of life. D.C. lands at the 62nd best performing.
All right, as they transition to more localized coverage, we're going to use this time to take our third 2-minute commercial break of the hour here at 6:51 on the East Coast. I'm Jeanne Francine. We'll be right back. 6:53 is the time. Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm Jeanne Francine. On this Monday, January 20th, we are keeping a close eye on Inauguration. This coming in from the King Center. They say an urgent need, and then they provided this quote on the left-hand side of your screen from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It says, quote, "We need leaders not in love with money, but in love with justice, not in love with publicity, but in love with humanity," end quote. So sharing that in real time. We also have another, this coming from the U.S. and India embassy. It says, "To other countries I may go as a tourist, but to India I come as a pilgrim." That's a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The U.S. and India embassy, though, they put this out on MLK Day. They say, "Today we honor the life, memory, and legacy of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Like Mahatma Gandhi, MLK was inspired by the power of nonviolence. Let us honor their legacy. And a quick content reminder for you right here on Live Now from Fox. We will have Inauguration Day 2025 in full, but for those of you all that want to see the very latest events as relates to MLK Day, we have you covered with a separate YouTube stream. You can click on that to get the latest MLK Day parade and, of course, King Center services. That will be provided by our content partners over at Fox 5 Atlanta. We see that Fox 5 DC, they are back sharing the very latest as relates to Inauguration Day 2025. Let's check in with them now.
Well, that's been a challenge for 20 years.
25 in Washington. Winds out of the west-northwest here at 13. The feels like it's 14. Please take the cold seriously. We're not going to warm up today. It's going to stay very, very cold out there, I'm afraid. Even with sunshine, we're not warming it up a lot today or anytime soon. Tonight, tomorrow, we've got dangerous wind chills right through early Wednesday. Then it will finally warm up by the end of the week. 40s next weekend. Let's get there. Annie Mae.
If you're chief, I feel like that literally makes you Weatherman 1.
It should, right?
Like it was due to inauguration events. That's until 1 a.m. The main lanes are open, so just keep that in mind as you are headed out the door. A lot of closures throughout the D.C. area, but your main roads are actually looking pretty good. I think a lot of people not working today or headed into the D.C. area. That's definitely your best bet unless you're going to all that parade stuff. Metro will probably be good for you. 395 northbound, 11 between the Beltway and the 14th Street Bridge. 95, you're all clear right now as of now approaching 7 o'clock. Marissa?
Well, Instagram plans to release its own video editing software.
All right, they are sharing some tech news as it relates to Instagram. We'll use this time to take our final 2-minute commercial break of the hour. We'll be right back. One minute shy from the top of the 7 o'clock hour here on the East Coast. Good morning to you if you're just now tuning in. I'm Jeanne Francine. We continue to follow the very latest. We know this Monday, January 20th, it is MLK Day. Also, the day selected for Inauguration Day 2025. This coming into our live now from Fox Studios. If you haven't seen it, it's from Time Magazine. They have President-elect Donald Trump, who will soon be sworn in as the nation's 47th U.S. president. They have him sliding in there into the Oval Office, and then they present the statement saying he's back. Again, Donald Trump about to be sworn in as the nation's 47th U.S. president. It will be the culmination of a political comeback unlike anything we have even seen. Fox News correspondent Doug Luzader has more this morning from a frigid Washington, D.C. as the transition gets underway.
Well, as the Constitution directs, this will all happen at noon today here in Washington. Security around here is extremely tight, even as the event itself has been moved indoors. With the Village people taking the stage at a victory rally last night here in Washington, the president-elect was taking it all in and preparing for what comes next.
At noon, the curtain closes on 4 long years of American decline, and we begin a brand new day of American strength and prosperity, dignity and pride.
It had already been a long day. The incoming president and vice president participating in a wreath-laying ceremony at Arlington National Cemetery. The frigid temperatures and wintry mix not slowing Trump or his supporters, as thousands arrived in the nation's capital despite last-minute plans to move the inauguration indoors.
I understand, but really disappointed.
The last time the Capitol Rotunda had been decked out like this for an indoor inauguration was 40 years ago when Ronald Reagan was sworn in. Trump's incoming press secretary dismissed suspicions that the decision was based on security concerns.
And they are unequivocally false. The unfrigid tomorrow.
Frigid, but Trump's agenda will heat up fast, with his incoming team planning for a flurry of executive orders and directives today, more than 200 of them.
Somebody said yesterday, sir, don't sign so many in one day. Let's do it over a period of weeks. I said, like hell, we're going to do it over weeks. We're going to sign them at the beginning.
Those executive actions range from immigration issues to the reform of the federal bureaucracy to ensuring that TikTok remains operational. In Washington, Doug Lusader, Fox News.
All right, Doug, thank you so much for that detailed report. And as we further look into what you need to know to get informed and excited about this momentous inauguration day of 2025, let's check in with our content partners over at Fox 5 DC.
Is how you take command, ladies and gentlemen. The big story today, this hour, of course, Inauguration Day in America. In just a few hours, President-elect Donald Trump will be sworn in as the nation's 47th president.
He kicked off his inaugural celebrations over the weekend, which included the victory rally inside Capital One Arena yesterday. Ceremonies will continue there today, as well as at the U.S. Capitol.
Now, the inauguration was moved indoors due to the bitterly cold temperatures, and we have live team coverage for you this morning with crews spread out all over the district. That includes Stephanie Ramirez outside of Capital One Arena, Maureen Ume near the White House, Melanie Ollie keeping an eye for us on crowds taking Metro, and Tom Fitzgerald inside of the Capitol Rotunda.
All right, we're going to start things off, though, with Tucker and Annie Mae tracking your Inauguration Day commute and that chilly forecast. Tuck?
Steve, good morning. And yeah, the cold delivering here on the backside of the snow we had yesterday afternoon. These are actual air temperatures, and this number keeps falling. It's been falling since midnight. Want to emphasize how cold it is across the area. 25 right now in Washington. Lots of teens out there as well. Germantown 16, Haymarket 19. I'm not even showing you wind chills here with winds out of the north and west. It's feeling like about 10 to 15 right now. Lots of protection of your skin if you're going to be outside later this morning or during the afternoon, as this cold will be dangerous for days to come. Not only today, but Tuesday and Wednesday, very cold as well. More details in just a moment. Annie Mae?
Thank you. 7:01. We'll take a look there at your Monday morning commute. Here's your overview in terms of your area main roads and around the Beltway. Looking fantastic for your drive times, but definitely seeing a lot of that slow down in terms of emergency no parking, several street closures throughout the D.C. area, as well as updates to your metro. Just note there is an interactive map on inauguration.dc.gov that's actually great to show you all of those street closures. We have those on fox5dc.com, but just keep in mind several around the Capitol, around Capital One, so many places in the DMV. Steve?
Frigid temperatures did not stop people at all from standing in line to get into Capital One Arena yesterday, and the same deal once again this morning.
And Fox 5's Stephanie Ramirez, she is out there with the people on the ground with all the latest details, and woo, that crowd is huge behind you, Steph.
Getting bigger by the moment. Some folks telling us they got here at like 7:30 last night, essentially trying to get to the victory event that happened inside Capital One Arena with President-elect Trump last night, and then coming on, just staying put, trying to get inside. Now, we're going to try to show you the crowd. It's kind of harder to move around now at this hour with so many more people here. This is 9th and G Streets Northwest. This this is the crowd that is getting into Capital One Arena for today's viewing of the inauguration and the inaugural parade. Now, we have some folks with us in line here. Thank you for talking with us. You told me you're local. Where are you coming from?
I'm coming from Arlington, Virginia. I go to college here.
And you told me you had a little spill as well. What happened?
I fell on the way up the escalator today in the metro. So I was walking up the metro, my foot caught, busted my head open. So under this, I got a bunch of gauze that my head is busted open.
And you are still here.
I'm still here, ready to go. I'm coming to see Trump.
Tell me why. Why do you want to be here today?
Because he's one of the best presidents. He's going to help us. There's so many people living in poverty. I'm a criminal justice major. I want to go into Secret Service, and there's so many things wrong with the justice system right now that we need to fix right now, and he's going to help us do that.
Now, you had tickets to get in, right, for the inauguration. Now it's moved inside. Tell me what direction you've gotten about going inside.
We've gotten not a lot of direction. Mostly was looking it up online, but thankfully, we're committed to going. We're going to look everything up online, see where we could go. We got sent the ticket confirmation to come in here to Capital One Arena, and we got those tickets.
All right, well, thank you for talking with us this morning. I hope you feel better soon. But, guys, that's dedication here, staying in line for this. Now, 9th and G is where we're at, but telling people, because I'm being told that this line is going around for blocks, so you're going to be directed further out if you come here. If you live in the area and you're trying to get around, 9th and H, 3rd and G are your access points. Make sure you have your license to show proof of address. The security here is going to start opening at 7 o'clock, so around now we should be seeing the line start to move. A lot of people excited for it to do so. I'll send it back into you all.
Hey, Steph, real quick question for you. As folks that maybe are in their hotels this morning, I don't know if we get back to Steph real quick. Does everybody, Stephanie, have to have a ticket specifically like that woman said, or are these folks who are just hoping to get inside?
We found a lot of people that did have tickets. You are supposed to register, but we also know that there are some folks trying to get in to see if they can. We don't know what success they're going to have, but everyone who, for the most part, a lot of the folks who are in line are telling us they did register, which is what you're supposed to do.
All right, Stephanie Ramirez, thanks very much. Okay, that's outside Capital One Arena. Now we can get to Jacqueline, who's inside the arena this morning.
Hi, Jacqueline.
Hey guys, good morning. Yeah, I wanted to reiterate what Stephanie mentioned about where she is on 6th and G and the lines that were building up throughout that area. We got here at 5 o'clock this morning. We're coming through the security entrances and had to go through several different entrances. And I will tell you, those lines, they were starting to build up. So definitely keep that in mind. Heed that warning. Of course, she mentioned that those crowds will start coming into Capital One Arena any moment now. The security doors expected to open at 7 a.m. So any time, really, they should be making their way into Capital One Arena. Hopefully that'll provide some warmth for them as well, because many of them have been out there since even last night. Now, those freezing temperatures, of course, moving all of the festivities indoors from the National Mall. You can see from earlier, we have the crews here currently setting up the stage for tonight's big event. But last night, many of the supporters were here filling Capital One Arena for the victory rally, the president-elect's last rally before he becomes the 47th president of the United States. I do want to mention that all of the activities will take place in the Capitol Rotunda. We'll check in with Tom Fitzgerald throughout the morning as well. But the ceremony and the inaugural address will be live streamed here on the Jumbotrons at Capital One Arena. And then all the pomp and circumstance will make its way here to Capital One Arena, because that is where the presidential parade will be happening around 3:30 this afternoon. And going back to last night, President-elect Trump, as I mentioned, held that last victory rally. He talked a lot about what he looks forward to on doing on day one. He said he'd sign more than 200 executive actions to take place. Those actions will address border security, cost of living, energy, a lot of the things that he campaigned on. If we can take a soundbite of that, he mentioned that last night.
Within hours of taking office, I will sign dozens of executive orders. Somebody said yesterday, sir, don't sign so many in one day. Let's do it over a period of weeks. I said, like hell, we're going to do it over weeks. We're going to sign them at the beginning.
As I mentioned, those security doors should be opening any moment for the screenings for people to start coming in. The live streaming of the ceremony will begin at 10:30 this morning. Of course, the swearing in happening at noon, and then 3:30 p.m. will be the presidential parade here in Capital One Arena, where J.D. Vance and President-elect Trump will attend that and speak. Now, I did want to mention, you mentioned asking Stephanie about the tickets. She said a lot of people there had actual tickets, but we know that some 200,000 people were expected to be out on the National mall. Capital One Arena only holds 20,000. We did reach out to the Presidential Inauguration Committee to ask for more clarification on whether it was a first-come, first-served basis or if those people that were coming in did have to have a ticket, but we have not yet heard back. Of course, we'll keep you updated. But for now, I'll send it back to you. Steve, Marissa.
All right, Jacqueline, thank you so much. A live view of the U.S. Capitol on this super bitterly cold, blustery cold morning today, Inauguration Day. Tucker, because of that, everything changed in terms of moving things indoors.
Yeah, from what I take, one of the coldest, inaugurations we've had in history. So yeah, we'll be in the. You're pretty much looking at your daytime highs right now. We're in the mid-20s, and that's only half the story here because the winds are going to pick up again, and for a time this afternoon, we'll probably have wind chills that are in the single digits and low teens. So very, very cold for the Washington area, and a very cold and very blustery day expected for us. Okay, 25 degrees to get your morning going at 7 a.m. in Washington. These are actual air temperatures. Dulles is 20 degrees this morning, and you can see that we've cleared out from the snow and the sleet and in some cases rain that we had yesterday. Fresh snowpack for many of us. Very slippery conditions. Things are really locked up. Even areas that were just wet last night have iced over. So sidewalks, roadways, driveways, all of it very much on the icy side. Be extra cautious out there early this morning. Walk like a penguin, and you will be in good shape. Yes, exactly. Anyways, got it. Daytime highs only in the 20s, mid-20s latest afternoon. Notice those winds, northwest gusts into 25. Wind chills, low teens later today. You know me?
Tucker doesn't understand this feeling, but when I wear like a maxi dress and it's really tight, I walk like a penguin.
How do you know? I don't know the feeling.
I just have a feeling. That's for another time, that conversation. Well, look, GW Parkway, north and southbound. If you really have ever been on GW when there's any type of winter weather, you know it'll probably be closed there. McLean through Arlington, that's between the Beltway and Spout Run Parkway. You can use Clara Barton if you want to as an alternate this morning. 395 express lanes, northbound side of things. That's Alexandria, Potomac Park. That's closed as well due to
constitutional mandate. The president has to be inaugurated at noon on January 20th. Now, the president-elect, as you heard just a minute ago, is not going to waste any time before he gets into work. We are hearing this morning that more than 200 executive orders are going to be signed into law today, everything ranging from border policy, DEI programs, and all sorts of other federal government and other policies that the incoming Trump administration had wanted to do away with. Normally, these ceremonies only take a few minutes. With 200 executive orders, that could stretch out longer than anything we've ever seen at a presidential inauguration. We'll send it back into you.
Tom, thanks very much. Tom Fitzgerald heading up our coverage at the Capitol throughout the day today. And of course, we're going to be going strong all day long. And you can do that. You can tune in right here. Or if you're not able to be near your TV, you can watch us on our Fox Local app, which you can download by scanning the QR code on your screen.
The other big story on this Monday, the Commanders. They are just one win away from going to the Super Bowl.
All right, so we appreciate our content partners there, Fox 5 DC, and as they are about to go to a quick break, we are going to do the same, but want to give you this quick content reminder. Inauguration Day 2025, live coverage starting at 8 o'clock this morning Eastern Time. But of course, I'm here in the host chair, Jeanne Francine, giving you all of that pre-coverage you need to know as it relates to safety and security, and also an itemized list of the events. 7:14 here on the East Coast. Let's go ahead and go to a quick 2-minute commercial break, our first one of the hour. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. 7:17 here on the East Coast, and such a beautiful shot. We just got into our Live Now from Fox Studios outside of the White House with that beautiful blanket of snow there in the front. This next shot that we're giving, I'm going to pretty much give you a round robin right now across the D.C. area. This one takes us out to the steps of the U.S. Capitol. And as we continue to show you coverage, we know people pretty much spent the night, many of them, to try to get a front row seat to Inauguration Day 2025. Take a look. You can see a sea of red Make America Great Again hats and people who have flocked to see history in the making. And then this beautiful shot, pretty much a wide-scale view of what we can expect later today. And then if you look on the left-hand side and the right-hand side of your screen, you can see first responders as well as police officers, Secret Service. They are already there in full force, making sure things go safely and smoothly. 7:18 here on the East Coast. We see Fox 5 DC. They are back from a brief break. Let's check in with them now.
So cold that the inauguration activities have been moved indoors today, but even if you're going to anything, you want to make sure you bundle up for sure.
It's beautiful. Look at the mall this morning, though, right?
It is.
Gorgeous. Fresh fallen snow in the area. Well, we got close to 1 inch of snow across the area yesterday, right, Tuck?
Well, it really depends. If you're off the north and west, it was more like 4 or 5 inches.
Wow.
I mean, really delivering as you get, a little further with a little elevation. Locally, yeah, ½ inch to 1 inch, but it was sleeting for a time. All of that is just locked up solid here this morning. So, with the wind and the ice or the cold temps overnight, it's all frozen. Secondary roads are not great.
That's why I took Uber. Learned my lesson.
Good decision. Or, yeah, take Metro. And, as you're headed to the sidewalks, driveways, that kind of thing, just be extra cautious. You don't want to do a slip and fall in front of your family, right?
Or slip and slide.
Or a slip and slide. All right, let's do it. Out the door forecast. No warm-up in sight today. As advertised, it's going to be a very cold afternoon. 25 at 9 a.m. And then temperatures actually falling as that cold air continues to filter in from the northwest throughout the day. Will be 23 by 5 p.m. It should be a dry day, which is great news. And I do want to mention blustery winds here. I'll show you the wind chills in just a moment. Okay, these are actual air temperatures. They have fallen since I got here at about 5 a.m. And they will continue to kind of drift downward later this afternoon. 16 is the actual air temperature now in Gaithersburg. 22 in Leonardtown, 17 in Culpeper, downtown D.C., 25 degrees at Reagan National there, 18 in Hagerstown. Mixing winds out of the north and west, and your feels like is currently about 10 to 15. Feels like 14 right now in Washington, 4 in Gaithersburg. So this is why everyone was so concerned about people being outside for extended periods of time today. It's just not going to warm up, unfortunately. Some of the coldest air we've seen, or certainly this will be the coldest air mass we've seen so far this month of January. It's been a very cold January around here. All right, mentioned the snow accumulations yesterday. Heaviest amounts to the north and west, where we did get 4 or 5 inches of snow. Won't be the case today. It'll be all about sunshine and quiet conditions. Very cold tonight and very cold the next couple of days. Remember, our average temperature in January this time of year is mid-40s. We're going to be about 20 degrees below that the next several days. 27 this afternoon. Could be a few flurries tomorrow, 25, 23 on Wednesday. Hey, look at next weekend. Warm up heat wave. It'll be 44 by next Sunday. Any May?
You and your heat wave comments when it's literally 12 degrees warmer. Right now, we'll take a look. 7:16 your time there, 270 southbound, about 30 minutes between 70 and the Beltway. Holiday, not really a lot of people traveling on your area main roads. You should be cautious as the potential for ice just because those colder temperatures. Some places in the area. This is the inner loop in Silver Spring. A crash there at Georgia Avenue. That has the left lane and shoulder blocked, but it's only about 7 minutes in terms of your delays from Georgia Avenue. So again, that's on the inner loop for your top side. So it's not really going to cause too many issues. The outer loop is actually looking fantastic there between 95 and 270. 9 minutes to take you that 8-mile stretch going an average about 57, 60 miles an hour. Marissa?
Anime, thanks so much. Today's inauguration ceremony begins with a traditional prayer service at St. John's Episcopal Church. And our very own Maureen Ume, she's live outside of the church with a preview of one of the most private inaugural ceremonies. Maureen, good morning.
Good morning. We've been pushed back up from where the church is, but let me take you a little closer to show you the security measures in place. All last week, we're talking about just how intense this was, the most robust in presidential inauguration history. Take a look here. That is the White House there. Just to the left of it, your right will be St. John's Church. You see these anti-scale fencing that's gone up. They've pushed us back quite a bit. But again, security very tight here outside the White House. As you mentioned, the services will get going about 8:15 this morning. That is when the president is expected to depart
depart the White House, the president-elect, I should say, expected to depart the White House and then head to St. John's. Church service at St. John begins around 8:30, and then they'll head to Blair House. And at Blair House, this is where they'll have a chance to decompress before then going to the White House to meet with President Biden and Jill Biden for ceremonial tea. But coming back to the church service at St. John's Episcopal Church, this is a tradition about 92 years old. This church is known as the Church of Presidents. This is a symbolic traditional starting point for the day. It's really aimed at setting a tone of solemnity and reflection before the rest of the pomp and circumstance, if you will, of the day begins. We're told that the rector of the church, Reverend Robert Fisher's his name, has been meeting with the Trump team to plan out a service that he says will be brief, but still provide the incoming president with a chance to reflect on the 4 years that lies ahead. This is tradition. No cameras, no videos allowed inside. It's also an apolitical event. Now, after the service, that's when the president-elect again will head to Blair House and then eventually have the tea with President Biden and Jill Biden. But back here live outside, you can see as things get ramped up, this is all getting started in less than an hour. You can see the security well in place here. Secret Service has pushed us out from where we were initially, and now you see the anti-scale fencing up. This is, again, around the perimeter of the White House. They have it around the Capitol. All of it meant to make sure that people are safe going here. You see some people trying to get into some points here. If they're not credentialed, they cannot. So Secret Service turning them away to get through other entrances. This morning already we've seen Border Czar Tom Homan as he was heading into this perimeter. But you can see it ramping up now. We'll be here all morning trying to give you just a scene setter, letting you see how this is all happening as the inauguration gets underway. But again, 8:15 is when the President-elect Trump and the First Lady are expected to leave and enter St. John's Episcopal Church for the ceremony that starts this morning. That's the very latest from here. I'll send it back to you. More to come.
You can definitely see the activity picking up for sure. Well, for the first time in 33 years, the Commanders will head to the NFC Championship in a matchup against the Eagles.
Has it sunk in yet? That's Makia. She's joining us in studio with more reaction.
Gosh, it still feels surreal.
All right, they are switching to sports, and understandably so. A lot of people in the D.C. area excited about the Commanders, but wanting to share this with you in real time, a live look there as we are excited about Inauguration Day 2025, and we see the tweets rolling in real time. You can see here at 7:24 on the East Coast how many dignitaries and officials are sharing the very latest as well. We do see that Fox 5 DC, they are back from a quick commercial break with some breaking news. Let's listen in.
All right, the breaking news from the White House on President Biden's final day as president, and one of his final acts, he has pardoned a number of people preemptively, including Dr. Anthony Fauci, retired General Mark Milley, members of the House committee that investigated the January 6th attack on the Capitol, and the police officers who testified before that committee. The move could guard them all from potential revenge by the incoming Trump administration. The decision by President Biden comes after President-elect Trump warned of an enemies list filled with those who have crossed him politically or sought to hold him accountable for his attempt to overturn his 2020 election loss. So that news just coming in from the White House.
7:25, weather and traffic on the 5s. We want to shoot things over to Tucker now to talk about this cold weather.
Yeah, cold's here to stay. 25 degrees, get your morning going. Good news with our forecast, the sun is back and it'll be bright sunshine today. The bad news is the feels like it's 14. That's the wind chill. That number's not going to budge at all today. In fact, at times it'll be in the single digits. So very cold temperatures, very slippery out there as well. Everything's frozen solid across the region. And we are just not going to see a big warm up anytime soon, or even a little warm up anytime soon. Cold afternoons and then bitter cold at night with daytime highs about 20 degrees below average right through Wednesday. We'll get a little better by the end of the week. 27 this afternoon. Annie Mae.
Thank you. Right now, 7:25 your time. We'll go ahead and take a look at your roads again. Starting off their presidential inauguration, of course, going to be a lot of street closures around the D.C. area. So that's, of course, including the Capitol, the church this morning. That includes Capital One Arena. So many different areas you can actually see, of course, a lot of those red zones in and around the White House as well. Inauguration You guys can use if you do want to see those individual street closures, or you can go to fox5dc.com. Of course, that includes the convention center for the ball as well. We've got Metro updates, everything for you in terms of everything. Marissa?
Thank you for keeping tabs on it all for us, Annie Mae. Keep it right here to Fox 5 because we have much more Inauguration Day coverage for you all day long. In just a few hours, President-elect Trump will be sworn in as the next commander-in-chief at the U.S. Capitol. A parade will also take place later today at Capital One Arena. Again, team coverage. Don't go anywhere. You can stay right here with us here on Fox 5. You can also watch on our Fox Local app. We'll be right back.
Imagine the pleasure of waking up tomorrow.
7:27 here on the East Coast, and we are following breaking news this Monday morning right here. President Biden issuing preemptive pardons to Fauci, Milley, and others. Here's a quote from President Biden. It says, "That is why I am exercising my authority under the Constitution to pardon General Mark Milley, Dr. Anthony Fauci, the members of Congress and staff who served on the Select Committee, and the U.S. Capitol and D.C. Metropolitan Police officers who testified before the Select Committee." He goes on to say the issuance of these pardons should not be mistaken as an acknowledgement that any individual engaged in any wrongdoing, nor should acceptance be misconstrued as an admission of guilt for any offense. He goes on to say our nation owes these public servants a debt of gratitude for their tireless commitment to our country. Now, just to provide some perspective for you of this breaking news, we continue to follow the Associated Press reporting that President Joe Biden pardoned Dr. Anthony Fauci, again, retired General Mark Milley, and members of the House committee that investigated the January 6th attack on the Capitol, using the extraordinary powers of his office in his final hours to guard against potential, quote, revenge by the incoming Trump administration. The decision by Biden comes after Donald Trump warned of an enemies list filled with those who have crossed him politically or sought to hold him accountable for his attempt to overturn his 2020 election loss and his role in the storming of the U.S. Capitol back on January 6, 2021. We know Trump has selected cabinet nominees who backed his election lies and who have pledged to punish those involved in efforts to investigate him. That's coming from President Joe Biden. And then we did read that graphic to you, this one moments ago, coming from President Biden. Now, we do know it's customary for a president to grant clemency at the end of his term, but those acts of mercy are usually offered to everyday Americans who have been convicted of crimes. But Biden has used the power in the broadest and most untested way possible to pardon those who have not even been investigated yet. And with the acceptance comes a admission of guilt or wrongdoing, even though those who have been pardoned have not been formally accused of any crime. So just sharing this with you in real time, President Biden issuing preemptive pardons to Fauci, Milley, and others. 7:30 here on the East Coast. Let's go to our second 2-minute commercial break of the hour. We'll be right back. 7:32 is the time here on the East Coast. Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm Jeanette Francine. Good morning to you. If you are just now tuning in, I want to provide this beautiful live look as we are getting geared up for Inauguration Day 2025 right here on Live Now from Fox. Let's check back in with our content partners over at Fox 5 DC.
Great to see everybody on this Monday morning. It is coming up on 7:30. And look at that, a little bit of sun actually coming up over the nation's capital on this big day. It is MLK Day. It is also Inauguration Day. A lot of people in D.C., a lot of visitors to our nation's capital. We're going to take care of everybody this morning, starting with weather and traffic updates. That's going to be in just a couple of minutes. But obviously, the conversation centers around politics today, Marissa.
Yeah, it's a big day for us here at Fox 5 in terms of coverage. We have our team all over the district. Well, it's 7:30 now, and it's time for our inauguration edition of Monday Morning Quarterbacks. And joining me right now is today's guest. We have Theron Bond. She's a Democratic strategist. We are working to get Chris Johnson on as well. He's a Republican strategist to give the other side. But since you're here, Theron, we'll begin with you. What do you expect to see and hear from Trump today during his inauguration speech?
Well, on the campaign trail, we heard I guess now President Trump, we can call him unity. We heard a lot about him bringing people together, but between the campaign trail and then once he became president-elect, that seemed to go away. So I think what he's going to talk about is everything he's going to do today. We don't even need to get to his first 90 days or his first 100 days because he has repeatedly indicated that he's going to sign at least 100 executive orders day one. So we should expect him to do what he said about mass deportation. We should expect him to do what he said about DEI. And whether or not we like it, we should trust what he says, no matter how egregious it may be, because he's got a lot more power behind him now. He knows where the bathroom is. He knows where the kitchen is. He's put all his loyalists around him, and he's going to execute what he thinks is a mandate for the American public. Now, there are at least, 50, 60, 70 million people who did not vote for him. So my concern would be about how he's going to reflect the values of those folks and make sure they're included in his administration.
But he is armed with the Electoral College votes that he got, including the popular vote that he won against Biden. So that is a key difference from the first term in terms of entering office. What then should the Democratic response be?
They got to get their message tight. I'm always going to be honest despite what side of the aisle somebody is on and despite what side of the aisle I currently am on. Because we have to be honest about what went wrong, what went right, and what we need to do to go forward. And those may be three different things. What the Democrats really need to do is get their messaging tight and not just set out particular candidates for the sake of filling seats or becoming challengers to Republicans. What they've got to do is actually put forth good candidates, actually seek and search and find and really build a bench. And that starts with DNC elections that are coming up here in just less than 2 weeks, and making sure we have the right chair, the right vice chair, the right support team, and listening to those progressive voices that they lost during the 2024 cycle. Bringing back in apathetic voters, because if we're going to combat what some may view as chaos on the other side, it's not something that's going to be easily done. And I think Democrats overall have played too nice, and now we've got to play hardball, and we've got to continue to play hardball all the way to the finish line with some wins.
We know that there's a Republican majority in both houses, chambers. Definitely
it's everywhere.
Slim. Yeah, it's slim, but it's there.
Yeah.
You mentioned some of the executive orders, more than 200, in fact, that he plans on enacting as soon as he gets in office. Do you see any room or space for bipartisanship in any of those orders and any of the policies, cohesion that can come out of this?
I think we should hope for that, because that's what unifying means. It means to work in a bipartisan effort to get what's best for all of the American people and not just a select few, but they don't have to. And anytime that we've seen Republicans in a supermajority in anywhere in the United States through state legislatures and general assemblies, and certainly not having, the Supreme Court on their side, the House, the Senate, and now the White House, they don't have to, and most times they don't. When they don't have to, they won't. And so I don't expect them to. They feel like they know what the American people want. They feel like they are reflective of that by and large, which is not true. This was one cycle, and we know the midterms are just 2 years away. And so I don't think they have to. I don't think they will. You would hope so. The only way it can happen, there's a caveat, is if some of the infighting that has happened around the reelection of Speaker Mike Johnson before he was reelected as Speaker, if there's some contention there still as we continue to go through these legislative actions, then there may be some room, but there's not a whole lot.
So we may be in the same boat this time around, midterm elections 2026 and beyond, but we have to see ultimately what happens.
Yeah.
Theron, thank you so much for joining us. I know it's a huge topic. We were hoping to get Chris Johnson on as well, but we certainly respect and appreciate your expertise.
Thank you.
All right, Steve.
Thanks very much. We're also keeping an eye on any activity outside of Blair House, of course, right across the street from the White House. And that's where President Trump is going to be departing shortly to head, it's about a block or so to St. John's from there. So Maureen Ume is down in that area, but we're keeping an eye on the camera from the White House pointed at Blair House. So do expect some movement there shortly. That should happen within the next 30 minutes or so. With that, let's turn things back over to Tuck for everybody who's visiting or going to work today. Got to bundle up, Tuck.
Got to bundle up, and please take the cold seriously. Coldest air we've seen yet this month. It's been a very cold month here in Washington. These are actual air temperatures at 7 a.m. 21 in Beltsville, Bowie, 21 degrees. Springfield and Fairfax, 25. Okay, let's do some teens there. Leesburg, 18, 15 in Germantown, 25 in D.C. You mix in winds here out of the north and west, about 10 to 15. Real feel, the wind chill for everybody, about 10 to 15 across the region here. So bitter cold, here to stay for the day-to-day. Protect your skin and, limit your time outdoors as much as you can. I know a lot of people are outside. Make sure you are prepared accordingly here, as it's not going to warm up. Should be a sunny day. It will never be a warm day. In fact, temperatures, you're pretty much looking at your daytime highs. They may be in the low 20s by late this afternoon. We will keep it dry is the good news. This afternoon, if you're going out tonight or tomorrow morning early, lots of cold weather, but not concerned about any additional snow accumulations the next couple days. I'm going to toss it out to Melanie for the latest. Mel.
Hey guys, we are out here at Metro Center at 12th and G. It's not so bad if you've got about 4 or 5 layers on and the wind isn't blowing, and a lot of people keeping moving as well as they're making their way to their downtown celebration spots. Metro certainly the way to go. Many people heeding the advice, and we'll tell you what you need to know if you're still planning on coming downtown right after the break.
We appreciate Fox 5 DC for that extensive coverage. And don't forget, right here on Live Now from Fox, we are keeping you informed with the very latest. Looking ahead today, President-elect Donald Trump to soon be sworn in as the 47th president, giving you a beautiful live look at the White House here at 7:40 on the East Coast. And on the left side of your screen, just some content reminders as we are gearing up to give you full Inauguration Day 2025 coverage. That live coverage starting at 8 a.m. Eastern Time with my colleague Stephanie Quinu and also my colleague Andrew Kraft. But I'm here on the host chair right now. I'm Jeanne Francine, giving you what you need to know beforehand so you can prepare responsibly and make educated and informed decisions. Of course, making sure you are adhering to all of the safety and security measures that are in place as well. We see Fox 5 DC. They are back from a quick break. Let's check back in.
You need answered because this land is your land. Fox 5, stay ahead.
Fox 5, the only local station working for you at 4 a.m., period. Jacqueline Matters, Stephen Braddock, start ahead, stay ahead. Fox 5 morning, weekdays at 4 a.m.
Well, there's our look at the White House and the Capitol this morning. Now, the bad news is, as we predicted and forecasted, it's very, very cold out there this morning. It's one of the coldest inaugurations that we've had here in Washington in modern times. But the good news is there's a little bit of sun out there, so hopefully that's going to make things at least feel a little bit warmer. It certainly is the main event today in D.C., and getting a spot to watch in person is highly coveted.
Yes, with more than 200,000 people expected to flood the city, riding the Metro comes with some very important changes. And here to update us on all of those changes is Fox 5's Melanie Alwick. Melanie, how can our trips be smoother for those who are heading down for the events today?
Well, I would would say number one, be prepared. Make sure that if you don't already have a smart trip card, that when you get into the station, don't only get your entry fee, but make sure you have enough for your exit fee as well. That's going to make things much, much easier when you're coming downtown. You can also pay attention to Fox 5 DC. We'll have all the changes, if there are any, to the Metro. And you can also sign up for Metro alerts. That will also keep you updated as far as anything that might change as you're making your travels. But I can tell you that so far things have been really, really good here on the Metro. We're down here at Metro Center, which is kind of the main station. It has not been overly crowded. Things are moving very, very smoothly. We also want to show you just what it was like trying to get downtown earlier this morning. When we were coming in, certainly saw a lot of road closures. We saw security checkpoints as well. And if you are a D.C. resident, you had to show your D.C. ID in order to get into the vehicular zone. But again, most people heeding the idea of taking Metro. Metro actually has new signage in its system to greet all of these out-of-towners. It says, "Welcome to America's Metro system." The gates opened at 5 a.m. It is an all-hands-on-deck situation. The Emergency Operations Center opened yesterday, so they've been working on all of that. Metro Transit Police, they're fully staffed, but they're also being assisted by Metro Police from other transit agencies around the country. We've also seen members of the National Guard providing security in and out of the stations. Early trains were full of riders, and so far, everyone we've talked to has been in a celebratory mood.
Mainly it's because I'm freezing cold, but I got my beanie on, my Make America Great Again beanie. I got my Make America Great Again scarf. I got my Trump 47 gloves. I do have a Trump shirt underneath. I got a pin too.
And I like the tie.
Yeah, I got a Republican tie because I'm a Republican. I think it's pretty cool.
So you're ready to survive the cold today?
That's right. I hate the cold too. I'm from California.
I came all the way here from Springfield. I'm out of Woodbridge, and I got my card, so I'm so excited.
How did you find the Metro system so far this morning?
Very well. I'm so appreciative of the staff and also the mayor. DC has been wonderful in basically making everything flow very nicely, having the support that we need to get in here and out of here the entire time. All the inauguration weekend has been very good to us.
So again, most people in a very happy mood. So here's the scene here at 12th and G. You can see this is the exit entrance to Metro Center. There's others also down at the other corner as well at 11th and